So here's a hot take. Neither Black Panther nor Infinity War, Deadpool 2 or Incredibles 2 is this year's best superhero movie, because that honor goes to Inuyashiki. Well, I did record this review before seeing Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, so that movie's my number one, but Inuyashiki is the second place.
あんたも味わったらいいよ。俺と同じ憎しみを。俺が悪役で、ジジイがヒーロー。
Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage, and of course my statement was a little bit provocative, but for me this movie had everything I was looking for and exactly the stuff I haven't seen in today's big superhero blockbusters for a while. It reminded me a lot more of my favorite superhero film Spider-Man 2 because of its heavy emphasis on the characters and their struggles in the real world. I saw Inuyashiki at this year's Slash Film Festival and I was expecting something very different. When you take a look at that crazy explosion-filled poster or just go by the brief snippets of the trailer that I included at the beginning, you very likely expect another rather trashy, over-the-top Japanese manga adaptation. There are a lot of those, and while some can be really good, I was so happy to find out while watching this film that Inuyashiki is much more a character-focused superhero drama than an action spectacle. There are actually just a few action set pieces in the whole film. It was directed by Shinsuke Sato and is of course an adaptation of the popular manga series. There's also an anime adaptation, but I'm neither familiar with the manga nor with the anime. So I can only tell you about the movie, and what I can tell you is that I really loved it. Now before I go on about the film, I want to make clear that I absolutely don't want to say that all superhero movies should be like this. One of the best things about them is their vast possibilities to tell different stories in different ways. I'm only saying that a story in a film like Inuyashiki is something that has always appealed to me in a special way. And that begins with the protagonist. Ichiro Inuyashiki is a 58-year-old man who's probably like 100 others out there. He has an office job where his boss hates him, and a family that can't stand him either, to the point that he's completely ignored by his wife as well as his two teenager children. But despite all this, he's totally good at heart, where Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 was constantly loading more shit on Peter Parker's shoulders and therefore made him even more sympathetic and relatable for the audience. Inuyashiki is pushing this to the limit, so much so that you really have to laugh about all of his misery as well as feel sorry for him and root for him to get better. Not only are his family and boss thinking he's the most pathetic loser the world has ever seen, he also just finds out that he has cancer and only 3 more months to live. And when there's finally a bright glimmer of joy in his life, a little dog that befriends him, his wife is telling him to get rid of it. But when he's just out to do so, a strange incident occurs and he will never be the same again. At the same time, Hiro Shishigami, a rather ordinary high school student, is at the same park at the same time. Both of them are transformed and are now able to do all kinds of powerful things. They are basically all-powerful super cyborgs, nearly indestructible and godlike in their abilities. The question is, how do they use their new powers? Inuyashiki comes down to an epic fight between good and evil, between helping people and trying to wipe out all of Japan, but that conflict isn't just your typical broad action spectacle. The story and its characters are very much rooted in our real world, and I thought the film did a terrific job in portraying the consequences that would come with being all powerful. Ichiro Inuyashiki is someone who wants to do good, and who's finally getting the chance to make an impact. He isn't doing it for fame or respect, but just because it's the right thing to do. Hiro Shishigami, on the other hand, who already has the term hero in his name, is just a teenager. And when you are a teenager, such a power might be the most dangerous thing one can hand to you. It doesn't take long until he's using his new abilities to kill someone, but his character isn't portrayed as just a stupid evil kid. The film does a terrific job in exploring his situation and feelings. At first he might come across as just another one-sided antagonist, but you can really feel his struggle, his torment. As many people often feel in their lives, he thinks life is treating him unfair, and not just him but his mother as well. She's raising him alone while his father has started a new family. He's still visiting them, but it's tearing him apart. He's just barely able to keep his inner demons, his aggressions and frustrations locked in when he's at their place. That scene is bursting with tension, and because the film has so much heart and is so careful in creating its characters, I was constantly hoping that he won't turn to the dark side. Without spoiling that particular scene, he's of course later in the film, and again, Inuyashiki does a great job in fleshing out this vicious cycle he got himself into. For him, there seems to be no point where he could turn back, and the film is quite brutal and uncompromising when it comes to the way it's treating its characters and their lives. In general, it's a very brutal and I thought honest depiction of what it would mean if someone has godlike powers in the real world. The poster and the trailer look goofy, but the actual film gets really frightening and dark, and I appreciated that a lot. As someone who hasn't read any of the source material, I was also very happy how self-contained, well-structured and forward-moving it was. And even when it got crazier and the scope was expanding more and more, it never lost its personal dramatic core. Even when our hero is flying around Tokyo's skyscrapers, it's much more reminiscent of something like Unbreakable than it is of Iron Man. So in German I'd say, Inuyashiki ist ein wirklich hervorragender, etwas anderer Superheldenfilm, der seine starken Charaktere nie aus dem Blick verliert und sich durch Menschlichkeit und einen hohen Grad an Realismus auszeichnet. I give Inuyashiki 9 out of 10. It's more like 8.5, but I don't do that. Alright, that's it like always. Comment below and let me know what you think about Inuyashiki. And also let me know what is your favorite superhero movie of the year, and also what is your favorite manga adaptation. You can hit me up on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram simply at @JimmyCage. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like, and make sure you hit that bell for all I have to tell.